All right, what's poppin', everybody? It's your boy Armon, and we're back with another video. Get in here, get in here. It's time to get into some things. Now, y'all know we've been covering the Shannon Sharp stuff. It's just been a mess, all right? Yesterday, well, the last two videos I've crashed out. Yesterday, I really crashed out. So, yeah, you know, if y'all watched it, you know we didn't get monetized. So today, we got to take it a little bit more serious and more light, okay? But in a nutshell, Shannon Sharp, the saga continues, and the thing happened that I think he was trying to avoid, which is why he was paying the $10 million, the lawsuit. So he stepped aside from ESPN, all right? But the whole thing is, he's saying, okay, well, I stepped aside to work on, this case, and I got to get this lawsuit under wraps because it's a lot going on, and I just don't really have time to be in the studio focusing on work when I have to deal with this lawsuit. Other reports are coming in saying that ESPN was already setting up to let him go for a minute, put him on timeout, probation, take him off the air. So that actually happened first. Then he made a statement and said that he was going to step aside. But in all actuality, he already got the news that, hey, we're benching you right now. And I think that what they did is they let him just come out and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and step to the side. But either way, he's not on ESPN right now. He's taking a step back, taking a step down for now. And so that is why I feel like he offered the money, because that's the most important part, right? When you have one of those type of jobs that, when you work for someone else, just being honest with you, and you have those jobs that are in the public eye, you're on television, you're on the radio, you're a record executive, whatever it is, the slightest allegation, the smallest thing could really ruin it for you. And so now, because brands and businesses, they don't want to be aligned with that. They can't have him on television and people saying, well, what about these allegations? Or what about what he did to this girl, this young girl? What do you think about that? It's too much negative press. And I know a lot of people feel like, well, any publicity is good publicity. But at the same time, these companies, they lose a lot of money. And they may have sponsors pull out because he's on the show. And so these companies are not going to take that risk. So he's potentially losing a lot of money not being on the show. Also, they were saying that he was up for a $9 million or nine-figure podcast deal. Now we don't even know if that podcast deal is going to actually go through for his personal podcast. It was going to be a nine-figure situation, but now it may be nothing. So, to me, that is the reason why you offer the $10 million, because people are like, well, hey, why is he offering all this money? Why is he offering this money if he didn't do it? Well, to be honest with you, yes, $10 million may be a lot to you and I, but in the grand scheme of things, you're talking about a nine-figure podcast deal, ESPN show, and a slew of other endorsements. I'm going to give her this money so she can shut up and never speak on me again. I'm just going to go away and just pretend this never happened, because now I have a legacy with this on my back. And who knows what's going to happen once this is all said and done. God forbid they get somebody else in that seat and I lose my job at ESPN for good, regardless of what the outcome is. God forbid, I was banking on this nine-figure podcast deal. Now that goes to crap because of this situation. So I think in his mind, he was more like, hey, you know what? It's more worth it for me to just pay the money than to have all of this go public. However, like I said in the previous videos, he was not paying attention to the setup that was at play now. But he's still doing his podcast with Chad Ochocinco. The numbers are up on that show. He's seemingly holding up pretty well, trying to avoid the situation and act as though, nothing is happening. This is just a complete shakedown. But at the end of the day, because he did put it in the wrong hole, we don't know how this is going to go. Another report came out that him and this woman, now this is sources close to him allegedly saying him and the woman had been having BDSM relationships or relations over 100 times. So the kicking, the choke, the all of that was happening over and over and over. The choke slamming and then the pile driver and you know what I mean, the somersault weapon kick. All of that was happening, had been happening. You know what I mean? The black eye, you feel me? So all of that was happening multiple times. So he felt like, you know what? Well, this is how we play. This is how we get it in. And she just, she flipped it on him. Now he's also being under fire because Monique warned him and told him, hey, you need to stop dating these young girls. Get somebody your age. He was lashing out at people for saying get someone your age. Then Cat Williams warned him about clear people, told him, hey, I don't trust clear people because they'll end your whole world in a weekend. Literally, she did that. Okay? So people are not feeling bad for him now because they feel like he was being warned. Also, comedian Donnell Rawlings, his ex-girlfriend or baby mom came out and was speaking on the fact that, you were laughing at me because we have because I was 23 when I got with Donnell, and I forget what age he was, but there was an age gap there, and you were trying to make him feel bad about the age gap that we had. However, you have a 23-year age gap with this woman, and this was a 19-year-old girl, and you're 54 years old. Regardless of if it's legal, it just feels weird because now she's 21 and you're 56, and the things that you're talking about, the way that you're doing it feels a little weird to me, feels a little bit creepy. Even if this stuff is not true, people still are side-eyeing you because the type of role playing and the things that you're doing with this woman at her age and at your age seems a little bit off. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what really is going on in your mind for you to be, you could have been her grandfather. You could have been her dad, and it's just like, why would you even want to entertain that? And then me listening to the phone calls, I'm here like you talking to her like she's really your girlfriend or something. And I'm like, you're talking to a child and you're almost a senior citizen legally. And you're not even understanding what actually is happening here. So for me, I get what she's saying, because it's like, well, you talked about me, but look at you. And this is why you have to be careful when you get on these microphones and give your opinion or do these interviews or whatever the case may be, because the minute some stuff comes out about you, everybody's going to pull up what you said about the next person. You know what I'm saying? And if it don't add up, people are not going to feel bad for you. People are not going to feel sorry for you. People ain't going to think nothing. They're going to say, well, remember when you said this, but you had all this to say about such and such. And so that's a lot of what Shannon Sharp is going through now. But I think this is just a lesson for him to realize, hey, although he's been a successful athlete, a successful commentator, I think the Cat Williams thing really blew his podcast up. Then he started seeing crazy money from his podcast. Then he started getting really, really, really messy. And then he was not really thinking. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't really thinking. I think the money, the fame, even though he already had money and fame, but it was like a resurgence of money and fame. And I think that, with that comes control and power. And he was just being careless with it and didn't realize that he was walking himself into a very, very, very tricky situation. And it was going to be, it was going to cause a little bit of a stump or a little gap in his earning. Do I think that he will make it through this? Yes, because if I'm looking at everything that's happening, I totally believe that it wasn't malicious, and I feel like it was an accident. And not even so much an accident like, oops, my bad. It was more so like, oops, I didn't really know that you really was taking it serious like that, because I thought that's what we did and that's kind of what we was on. You know what I mean? But even still, people I think are still weirded out about a 56-year-old, putting it in a 19-year-old's, you know what I mean, shooter. No diddy. It's kind of like, well, what were you getting out of that? Is it because she was a young, clear woman and you just want to shove it in her cooter booter? And so I think that's the part that people still are like, this is weird. So I don't know. We'll see what happens next with Shannon Sharp. We're following the story. I'll keep you guys posted and updated, and we'll talk as more comes out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think that he should have left ESPN? Do you think that he will come back? Do you think he should stay gone? How does this end for him, and what side are you on? All right? Until next time, keep that same energy, and we'll see you soon. Peace out.